everyone. It's Meredith Leon-McCormack for World Bride Magazine. You are in for a treat. We either just finished New York Fashion Week or we're about to do Bridal Fashion Week, but we're always during Fashion Week all over the world. And I wanted to bring one of the most youngest stars into this industry. He's young to you guys, but he is an industry icon that is taking over film and editorial, bridal, fashion. Mr. Wilfree Vasquez!
Ooh.
Woo, woo, woo.
Thank you for having me, Meredith. Thank you for that beautiful
Absolutely.
introduction.
I think you're fantastic and thank you for a fabulous cover.
You're very welcome.
Ew,
Yes, that's my styling in
literally
the
turns
background. You could get a little
turns head.
glimpse.
No, it's fantastic.
I love it.
And the thing that
It gives me chills every time.
no, but you know what it is? What excites me about you is you're a visionary. You are about layering, you're about filling in the gaps, you're about y- don't leave it behind. It's not old. It's now seasoned in a different way, and you know how to make every bit of fashion sustainable.
Thank you.
So, before I want to get into you, give us your full name, the name of your
Sure.
company, and your title, which is probably very long.
Yes. So my name is Wilfree Vasquez, for those of you that don't know me. My title is I'm a celebrity stylist for TV, film, commercial, editorial, bridal, and print.
Yeah.
So, no, sounds a little bit extensive, but that's everything in a big scope of what I do altogether.
And I think what it is people don't realize that while you may have a fashion sense in from the spectrum of things, it is broken down into divisions, just like a modeling agency would be. It would be divided into print.
Yes.
It would be runway. You would be commercial. It could be beauty. It could be fitness, children's, women, men. So the same thing with bridal. And so is it with a stylist. So it is with a regular stylist that does ready to wear. Give us give us the history of what inspired you to get into the industry. When did you know you had this gift that,
Mm,
and I wanted to share it with other people? Give us.
awesome. So I've been working in the entertainment business for 25 years. I
Oof,
know I'm very
you
young.
look like a
And
baby.
the reason why I've been doing it for or working in the industry for so long, not in the same titles, but I started out as a child actor. And I had been in performing arts since I was in elementary school. Since first grade, I've been performing. I did my first film when I was 10 years old. It was kind of big in New York City. If you Google me, you'll find out what it is. I'm not going to tell you the name. But anyway, I'll just say that's how I started. And then from there, I got into retail. And through retail was where I figured out what styling was because I got into visual merchandising. And it was something that I started doing without me knowing that I was doing. I literally thought I was getting scolded by the visual manager in our store when I was working at H&M while I was in college.
Wow.
And they were actually commending me for styling what we know as face outs. And face outs are when you walk into a store and you're grabbing an item, that item that faces you that's hanging, whether it's a shirt or a jacket, that's
Right.
called a face out. So instead of
Mm.
just putting the jacket there, I would put a shirt under it or wrap a scarf around it or like cuff the sleeve or do all these things just because aesthetically it was pleasing to me.
Right.
And I thought it looked good. That's the only reason I was doing it, no other. Then I found out that, they wanted to bring me in and train me into visual merchandising. And when
Wow.
I got into visual merchandising, one of my staff that I had hired needed assistance during New York Fashion Week.
Wow.
And she's like, hey, if do you want to come help me during New York Fashion Week? I'm like, oh my God, I never worked New York Fashion Week. This is back when they were at the tents. I'm talking about 2010. Okay. Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week.
Absolutely.
And
That was
what that
my
was my
era. You're too young for that.
so 2010 was when I started working at the tent with this designer. And then within 3 months, I replaced her. And then while working my two full-time jobs, and I got into fashion. And through that fashion couturier designer, I was working with Fergie, Lindsay Lohan, Kim K, Rutina Wesley, Kat Graham, Selena Gomez. And then in 2015, I decided to take it on full force on my own. I had moved from New York to DC, and I met a director that was the originator and creator of the Charmin Bears, who wanted to take a meeting with me. And he was working on his first feature film for
Mhm.
Amazon Prime. I didn't know that it was
Wow.
for Amazon. I thought he was just working on a feature film that he was going to create and put out there.
Mhm.
He interviewed me. We vibed very well, and I costume designed my first film in 2015. Ever since then, I've been styling, costume designing, commercial, doing it all, just because it all falls within the creativity line, right? I like to be multifaceted because I feel like once you box yourself into just one genre,
Mhm.
then it's like the artist that we hear now, right? Like if you're always releasing R&B music or pop music, you'll have one hit every once in a while. But if you're tapping into every genre because you love every genre of music, imagine how many more hits and how many more fans you will have. And if you do it well,
And I
cherry
think
on
that's
top.
why collaborations were such a big hit, because
Yes.
people like Beyonce doing something with J Lo. I remember they did something together
Yes.
with Shakira, and with her.
Even with Jay-Z. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that, it was the cross-pollination of things always helps tapping in. And then it was easy for her to get into country music, which I don't think it's she got into it. I think she was inspired by it all her life.
I
She's from
agree.
Texas, and country
100%.
music, the history of it. And if people went to the country music history, the museum, they'll see where it came from, the storytelling. And so I totally love that you understand that, even from the closed perspective. But the thing that I want to correct you about, you didn't replace anyone.
Oh,
Absolutely, you did
I
not.
just meant,
You
you know,
continued, you
I did, I did,
continued
I
a
did, I did, I did.
legacy that she
Yes.
started, and then you made
Yes.
it your own because you have your own sense of style and identity.
Yes.
And that's the
Yes.
beautiful thing about our industry. One person can bring us in or bring us
Yes.
into something, but she saw something gifted in you that
Yes.
made her say, you know what? I'd like you to be a part of my team. I don't know anyone that could be foolish enough, selfish enough to not think or want you to succeed that they've mentored. I always want to see the people that I love that I brought into an
Same.
industry to do it, and I know that about you. You've brought young people to assist you on jobs and everything else. And then the minute we stop trying to hinder other people from growing, we flourish because that's our tentacle. It's a reflection of us.
You know, it's crazy that we're having this conversation now. I literally, right before I hopped on the call with you, I had just received an email and it was from an intern that had interned with me,
Hmm.
thanking me for interning, and thanking me for giving her the opportunity. And I get those a lot because I'm huge in education. Point blank period, education is key,
Yep.
whether the person coming behind you is great at it or learning or just wanting to know or
Yep.
still trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And in the email, she thanks me. And then she goes, by the way, I'm now at this brand and I want you to come. We have an event and I want to offer you A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Think of us when you need this. And I'm just like, what?
Your
And it's not a
intern.
small, my intern. And this is for
Exactly.
the brand is Macaj. So those of you who know the brand Macaj, we know they do amazing things. But
Yep.
like I got invited to their store opening. Now she's like offering me a discount. She's like, whatever you need for your clients, let me know. I don't do it with that intention. I do it out of the kindness of my heart. And when I see something in someone, I'm like, you know what? Let me test it out. Sometimes it flourishes into something deeper
Hmm.
within the creative industry, or
Hmm.
sometimes it opens
Hmm.
the eye to say, you know what? This is not the right field for me. Maybe I need to take this direction instead.
Absolutely. Ex
But
Yep.
I love to that for me inspires me to do what I love every single day. Because if not, why do we do this,
It
right?
doesn't
If not
matter.
to inspire, if not to motivate, if not to teach, if not to push the needle forward. You can't be selfish in this business. If you're
Possible.
selfish, you're just not going to make it, and you're going to have no
No.
longevity because you're not. It's a community. We're stronger together.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad Makaj is still around because Makaj,
Oh,
when I tell
Jesus.
you, back in the day in my celebrity manicuring days, that was one of my clients. So when they launched,
Ah,
I was there. We
love
were
it.
the nail team for them. I was the
That's
lead for
amazing.
them backstage and just seeing the same thing with Jason Wu, seeing them build. And I remember it was just exciting times,
Yeah,
for that era of there was room for everyone, but you had to prove yourself.
always,
You literally
always.
had to prove yourself. Don't come in here and try to act like you're the star and you just got out the gate. Stop.
Yep.
Show respect to the craft. It wasn't that they didn't want you because they sure didn't have the time to waste to bring someone that they didn't see
Right.
potential in. It was too costly. So it's beautiful to see that you, a young person yourself, giving it and still following in that path of inviting other people to the point that now the tables are reversed and they're asking you, hey, here, how can we work? So that means she loved you, loved the way you treated her. So you treated her well to want to come back. I know there's right now it's still going on with this whole top model situation and how things
Mm,
are
yeah,
being perceived and whatever else. I don't want to comment about that because I have mixed feelings and we know the
I
business that
agree.
we get into. So that's why it's important to have great mentors and people that's going to keep you grounded. You know what I'm saying? To say, slow
Yes,
down a minute, hold your horses, wait a minute, and have have people that are going to be honest with you and tell you
yes,
this may not be, like you said, this may not be for you. Maybe it's another division. Like your boss, you thought, with the merchandising, you thought they were like, but look, they saw something greater
but
in you that you didn't even.
exactly.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's
But I love it, and
brilliant.
that's how we build. We always ask. It's funny. I always hear people say like, "All these kids nowadays," or like, "They don't know what they're doing," and blah blah blah. And
None
I
of us did.
always revert back to say, "Well, you're part of the problem. Don't blame the kids. Blame yourself. Because what are you doing to help the cause?" Because my one of the reasons why I'm so successful in what I do, and I am around and been around for so long, still doing it, right? Where people wish they could like, how does he do it? How does okay, rule number one, point period. You can't judge a book by its cover. You just can't.
Mm.
You can't judge a book by its cover. My longest assistant, okay, she's a veterinarian. All right. She reached out to me and said, I
Love
want to
it.
get into fashion.
I
No
love it.
experience at all with fashion.
I love it.
Guess what? She's one of the best assistants I've ever had in the 10 years that I've been doing this full time. One of the best assistants I've ever had. And if it
She's
wasn't because she had
loyal,
to leave,
hardworking, and everything. I know it because it's all about loyalty, even in this game.
oh my God, yes. 100%. Loyalty is everything in this business. And it's one of those things where like people work for people. That's how I always look at it. And it
Hmm.
doesn't matter what the job is. I always say, I can't teach you how to do the job, but I can show you. And if you can learn when I'm showing you how to do something, then you're in the right path. But if I have to teach you,
Right.
I don't have the time to teach. I don't
Yeah.
have the time to teach.
So one of the young women that brought me into this industry, I started out as a celebrity manicurist, and Deborah Hairbay worked in her salon. Editor walks in, gets a service, writes about us, and then offers me a invitation. She extends an invitation for me to do nails on set. Never heard of it, didn't know. I started making money with her off the gate, blessings, because she met me doing that. But in there, that's how I met who turned out to be my two of my very best friends and still friends with them now. stylist, Rodney Love Jones, and now he's an artist and artist consultant. Peter Brown, he was a makeup artist on set, and now he's a creative director and a photographer. And these people were so instrumental in my career path that without meeting them, without me humbling myself and asking, wanting to, I ended up interning, and I can call it now, volunteering. And I don't look at it as something that wasn't paying me because it paid me my career for 5 years before I landed an agent. 5 years before I got my first Estee Lauder campaign.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if
Yeah.
I had ego, I wouldn't have been there to begin with. If I thought I was better than, I would not have gotten where to meet these most extraordinary people. I met my agent going to with Peter Brown to a fashion show on a Sunday and went to the show with him, and he introduced me to my first agent and said, "Hey, if you're looking for a manicurist, she's available. She's really great." He vouched for me because he groomed me for it. So people
Yeah.
like you matter in this
Yeah.
industry that we're in, but we also had to be smart enough to say, "Okay, I can learn and I need to learn and I need to continue to evolve." And I feel like that's what you've done because you've done movies, TV shows. You didn't stop there. What
Yeah.
I want to talk about now is you literally um you have your own show during New York Fashion Week, which is I've never heard of it before, a stylist that had it. I think the only other person that had their own show was Rachel Zoe, who I have
Yeah.
the honor of working with. And she did this over 10 years ago. And to hear you do this, take talented artists, take their clothes and put it together and create a whole runway. Can you elaborate on why that is so important and how did you land something like that?
Yes. Well, first off, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that and to be able to have the community that you've worked so hard to build
Mhm.
around you that can support you when you're pushing the needle forward on something that you stand behind 100%, which is sustainability in fashion. Really big on sustainability in fashion. And I think there was a point in time where people were saying, like, oh, vintage is dead, vintage is dead. And I'm like, no, no, no. You're being lazy. Vintage is not dead. You just don't know how to style vintage. So, and, speaking again on the sustainability part, it was like,
Mhm.
well, there are enough sustainable designers. How are we supposed to know what sustainable designer? No, no, you're not doing your research. Let me show you what happens when vintage and sustainability comes together.
Absolutely.
And that's what I did. I was having my top models walk the runway, models that I work with all year round on projects, editorials, commercials, campaigns. For whatever reason, we've crossed paths. Or models that always wanted to work with me that I've never worked with. And I would have all of my top models walk my show. I would collaborate with all of these sustainable designers. And as we know, sustainability in fashion is very sustainable designers are very clean designers. So that means their garments are not going to be avant-garde, they're not going to be haute couture, they're not going to be gowns or anything too elaborate. They can create that, but they
Right.
don't make that for masses, right? They keep it more on a ready to wear, you buy it, you wear it as is. That doesn't mean that you can style it like it's haute couture. That doesn't mean that you can't style it
Mhm.
like it's avant-garde. And I think that's what I did. I took vintage and sustainable designers, merged them together, and added the missing piece, which was the creativity factor. I created headpieces. I had a sustainable designer from Turkey create these scarves that
Love it.
literally
Love it.
made out of silk, 100% silk. And I used that as the pulling thread that carried and married the entire collection together from start to
I
finish.
love it.
I would be inspired by eras like 1960s, 1980s, and do runway shows like that. Yeah, it's just bringing sustainability and vintage together, merging them together, and kind of showing people like, look, you can still have fun and be creative, and it can be relevant now. Fashion is forever changing. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean the clothes are forever changing. It's
Hmm.
the way you wear them that's forever changing.
Absolutely.
And I think if you figure out what works for you, all you have to do is one simple thing to just keep it relevant to where we are now. And if you want to carry the nostalgia of the past, you can do so, but just give a nuance of relativity of what's happening now so that people can go, okay, I'm inspired, rather than it's a has been.
It's interesting that you say that because think about it. The most iconic designers, the Oscar de la Rentas and the Carolina Herreras, Amsala, all of those people, their things are in museums, the Anne
Yes.
Lowe's and all of that. So, and they're things that when we look,
Schiaparelli and yeah.
yes, we'll literally look at it and be like, oh my God, I want this and I want to wear it again. But I also believe that if you're gonna go vintage, I'm talking about real like vintage,
Yeah.
past vintage, you have to own it. You can't
Hmm.
just wear it nilly-willy and act like it's no, own it. Like possess it. Like when I see you and you're wearing these beautiful bedazzled, beaded, handcrafted, I know they're vintage because they don't make this kind of stuff
Yes.
as much as they do anymore here. And I hate and I'm
Yeah.
saddened that the garment district is not as busy and busty the way that it
Yeah.
used to. I hope it comes back because the craftsmanship is coming back. It'll never be the same, but it can have that same, I think craftsmanship has gone
Right.
to the waistline and the hand beating, the workmanship, the craftsmanship that we're accustomed to that make things haute couture, how make things sustainable, because that's really what it is. It wasn't for the masses. It wasn't designed to
100%.
be. It wasn't wasteful. You bought what you needed and it was designed to last a lifetime. And as you got older, as your life changed, you literally just kept getting more stuff to add to your closet. But the stuff was so well made that you could pass it on to a thrift store, a secondhand store, and
Yes.
nobody would say, "Oh my God, what the hell are you wearing?" No,
Right. Right.
that wasn't the language. So I'm
100%.
so excited about you and you stepping into the bridal space because I know you've worked with a couple of bridal designers
Yes.
and have done some stuff. I love seeing you at New York Bridal Fashion Week and people are hiring you to style them for their wedding. So are
I
you
know.
available for stuff like that?
Yes, I totally am available. I always tell people, my schedule is insane. But that doesn't mean that I'm not available to, hey, like, Wilfree, how do I hire you? Well, you can go on my Instagram and you can go send me a message there. I do respond to my DMs or one of my assistants will. Or you can
Mhm.
go on my website, www.wardrobebywill.com, and then you can message me on there. There's like a thing where you can go to send me a message,
Right.
send me an inquiry of what you're looking for. And even with brides, like I love how now we're kind of veering away from just the one dress. We're doing the two dress back again, as we were talking
Yeah.
about earlier, because the bride wants to feel comfortable. They want a ready to wear notion to their bridal. It's like, yeah, we love the glitz and the glam, but I can't wear this bustle dress all night. Like,
Right.
this is insane, which is what it used to be back in the Marilyn Monroe days, as we
Absolutely.
discussed. Like,
Yes.
women were comfortable, they were pretty, they were gorgeous, but they were comfortable in what they were wearing. So
Absolutely.
I think we're seeing bridal come back to that and the ease and the comfort and the fabrics. Oh my God, the fabrics that things are being made in now. It's like so airy, so much more lightweight. We're getting back to the luxury of fabrics.
Yeah.
There was a point in time where we got into a pocket of the heaviness of too much. It's like you can't have too much of a design and then have too much fabric. It's just
Right.
too much.
Yeah.
So when you pare all that down and focus on the design and simply just focus on like the creativity of it all,
Hmm.
that's what people want to see at a museum.
I love
That's
it.
what's going to be memorable.
Of course it is, and I just finished watching The Love Story with Carolyn Bessette and John F. Kennedy, their story. And again, when she got married in that simple sheath silhouette, it did wonders. I remember I had a bridal salon that I would outsell my Nicole Miller dresses
Yeah.
because they just wanted sheath. So movies inspire things to go back to it, and I feel like the arts is always going to be a form of storytelling, inspiration for fashion, and that's why I wanted to have you as a guest talking about how what your work will one day and is inspiring other people for all occasions.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's
No,
funny
I
you mentioned that, and I was like, wait, reminds me of Meghan Markle's dress, right? Where people are like, she took a little bit from Jackie O and a
yep,
little bit from Princess Diana and
absolutely.
just literally simpleton,
Yep.
literally
And made
simplified
it
it
her
to a
own.
T and made it her own. And never since then, all these brides are like, oh my God, I can do that. I'm like, no, no, you could always do that.
Right.
And I think the beauty is you. Don't take away from you.
Right.
Enhance the you that's wearing the dress.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you for
I hope to
having
see
me.
you in New York Fashion Week, Copenhagen Fashion Week,
Yes.
Paris,
Yes.
Milan.
Yes. Yes, I'll be also at the British Virgin Islands. I will also be at the Bogota Fashion Week. I will also
Love
be in
it.
Miami Swim Week. I'm actually styling a show for
Yay!
Miami Swim Week this year for Paraíso, so it will be really cool.
Oh, we are going to be
Uh,
following you.
yes, I have a lot happening and so many amazing, beautiful things that I'll be able to share with you all. So stay connected. Reach out to me if you need me. And Meredith, again, as always, thank you for having me. And I love you to pieces. And thank you for what you
I love
do
you back.
for everyone.
We
And
try. It's
these
the same
teachable
thing.
moments is what's missing, you know? So I commend you 100% for staying the course and what you've done with World Bride. Like,
We
girl,
try. It's because of you, people like you
yeah,
who see the vision and see the bigger picture and say, "Hey, I'd like to contribute. Hey, and I want to invite, that's my give back, to people because don't want to do this forever, you know?
yeah,
Then it's time to pass the torch to someone else, and I want that to be always the case with World Bride Magazine.
that's amazing. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you more, guys. And there you have it. I need you to follow this young man and his journey. He is going to continue to evolve and bring new life to fashion. And we want to be there to share it and to welcome it. So until the next time, ciao, Bella.